First meeting, the Board of County Commissioners to order, and may we have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Baxter,
Here.
Commissioner Flores, Mayor Marino,
Here.
Commissioner Powell, Commissioner Sachs, Commissioner Weiss,
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Powell is here. Thank you. I've asked Vice Mayor Baxter to lead us in the invocation and the pledge. If you could stand, please do so.
Dear God, we are thankful for this day that you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, its challenges. We pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes, for each day's duties, for each day's problems. May we be challenged to give our best always, and may we be assured of your presence with us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Okay, we are on the agenda. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the board, we have one, page 42, where we are correcting an off-site proclamation. It was shown on District 5, and it should have been District 7.
Thank you.
That concludes additions, deletions, and substitutions.
We have an adoption of the agenda as amended. I have a first from Commissioner Weiss, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See that that motion carries 7-0. We are now onto the consent agenda, pages 7 through 37. Does anyone want to pull anything from consent? Seeing no lights on, may I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a first from Vice Mayor and a second from Commissioner Woodward. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See that that motion carries 7-0. We are now onto the special presentation portion of our agenda. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the light. Commissioner Weiss has a comment on consent.
Thank you. I'd just like to acknowledge and thank our engineering staff. They're moving forward with a project in Cam Estates. If you're not familiar with Cam Estates, it's part of District 2, an area of a working class neighborhood, I think is the best way to describe it. And they're going to be getting their streets repaved. It's long overdue. We just had the school redone. And so it's a great addition to the community, and I want to thank staff for taking care of it.
Thank you. All righty, special presentations. District 7? I have District 7 doing a proclamation for Second Chance Month, followed by District 2, Drowning Prevention Awareness Month.
I can get started? Okay. So I'd like to call up Chief Christopher Henry, Chief Coyle, Anna Stewart. Is Chief Kennedy with us this morning? Anyone else who's supposed to be up here for the drowning awareness proclamation? Before I read this proclamation, I want to also advise that Palm Beach County offers free and reduced swimming lessons throughout the parks and our facilities in Palm Beach County. And so there are vouchers available that will help families to cover the cost. So beginning March through October at Lake Lytle, North Crest Pool, North County Aquatic Complex, and John Prince Park, we have swimming lessons available. And then Memorial Day through Labor Day weekend, we have Calypso Bay Park, Coconut Cove Water Park, Santa Lucis Aquatic Complex, and Pioneer Park out in Belle Glade. So there are swimming lessons available throughout Palm Beach County and throughout the year so that everybody can stay safe. It is so important. Number one, unfortunately, killer of our very young children. And so it's totally preventable through learning how to swim. So we are declaring April 2025 as Drowning Prevention Awareness Month in Palm Beach County, whereas regardless of race, age, gender, or socioeconomic background, drowning and non-fatal drowning incidents can occur. Accidental drowning is one of the leading causes of death of children under the age of 5 in South Florida. During fiscal 2024, the Drowning Prevention Coalition provided 352 water safety drowning prevention activity education programs, of which 23,871 Palm Beach County residents benefited, and 2,226 children received swim lessons through the Coalition's free and reduced cost swim program. In the event of a lapse in supervision, other safety features that limit the delay unintended access to water are critical components in preventing drowning. Through community action, organizational partnerships, and promoting the awareness of swimming lessons via education, Palm Beach County can achieve zero preventable drownings. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners assembled in regular session on this first day of April 2025, that April 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Drowning Prevention Awareness Month. And I want to thank you always for, Anna, for being there and being out in the community and educating our community on this preventable accidental deaths. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Good morning. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. Yay. Okay. Right? Isn't that good? Okay. I want to thank you, Commissioner Weiss, for sponsoring our proclamation today. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Children's Services Council, who also funds our organization, as well as our free reduced cost swim program. And of course, we couldn't do our job without that help and support of Palm Beach County Fire Rescue and the Community Risk Reduction Division. I've been doing this for 21 years for drowning prevention. And many of you know me, and I'm really passionate about water safety and drowning prevention because I almost drowned when I was 8 years old chicken fighting. We won't go into that. But yes, drowning is preventable, and please, if you want our organization to come to your business, association, we're more than happy to come for free being the best word, to talk about water safety and drowning prevention because it can save your life, and we want everybody to be water safe and water smart, so thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is a proclamation declaring April 2025 as Second Chance Month. Whereas more than 600,000 men and women are released from American prisons every year, more than 11 million people annually cycle through our nation's jails, and national recidivism rates have topped 50%. And whereas the cost of incarcerating one person per year is approximately $28,000 at the state level, $48,910 locally, and $81,395 for a juvenile facility. And thousands of people return from incarceration to Palm Beach County each year. And Second Chance Month was created after the Second Chance Act, a law passed by Congress in 2008 that supports work to improve reentry. Reentry is a movement built on extensive research and tireless efforts of local leaders, policymakers, correction officials, and others who champion efforts to reduce offending in order to promote public safety, strengthen collaboration across agencies, and build stronger communities. And the work done by the county's Public Safety Department and the Reentry Task Force, through collaboration with reentry providers such as Dolores Place, the Reentry Center, and integrated healthcare systems in Riviera Beach. Choice to Change Incorporated and other criminal justice partners have contributed to making Palm Beach County a national leader in reentry services and reducing recidivism. And whereas the men, women, and youth returning from incarceration to Palm Beach County benefit by reuniting with their families, obtaining employment, finding stable housing, and having access to resources, and the demand for reentry services remains high. And the investments we make today in each returning resident will contribute to enhancing public safety in Palm Beach County. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this day in April of 2025 in Palm Beach County, it is hereby declared Second Chance Month. And I want to acknowledge the public safety and reentry program staff who have assembled in front of us today. Thank you all for the work that you do. Would someone like to say a word?
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and Commissioner Powell. Thank you so much for recognizing April as Second Chance Month here in Palm Beach County. By supporting Second Chances, we strengthen individuals, family, and our entire community. I would also like to recognize my staff from the Public Safety Department, as well as all of our service providers and the Reentry Task Force. Their commitment to breaking barriers and creating opportunities for those seeking a fresh start here in Palm Beach County. Together, we can build a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And thank you again for your support and believing in second chances. On the county's website, there's also a list of activities that are happening throughout the month of April, starting with today, accepting the proclamation. And then tomorrow, we have our Faith Leadership Workshop from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on St. Paul AME Church off of Haverhill Road. So we would love to have you all join us. Thank you.
While they're taking their photograph, could I have Dr. Casey Messer, Nita Mahani, Tess Clemens, Leah Head Rigby, Jeffrey Lasanti, Taruna Malhorta, and Jason Gross join me if you're here. Oh, we got the big boss. Right. Dr. James Green. Good morning. Thanks for being here. So we will be declaring April 10th, 2025 as National Youth HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. And, you know, it's important to not only be aware of this, but to also know that AIDS is no longer a death sentence. It is a disease that can be managed and controlled. We've made great strides, and to thank you all for the work that you've done to make sure that our community stays healthy and safe. We are declaring, or whereas in 2023 in Palm Beach County, youth aged 13 to 24 accounted for 10% of new HIV diagnosis, and 21% of these youth are not receiving HIV care. In Palm Beach County, even among young who are receiving HIV care and treatment, they are nearly twice as likely to have elevated HIV viral load compared to adults. And whereas clinical evidence has firmly established that people with HIV who achieve and maintain an undetectable viral load by taking antiretroviral therapy daily as prescribed cannot sexually transmit the virus to others. Whereas in Palm Beach County, nearly 8,900 persons are living with HIV. The Palm Beach County HIV Care Council and Palm Beach County Community Prevention Partnership, through their partners, are working together to renew HIV/AIDS awareness and to expand and strengthen local efforts to stop the spread of HIV. Whereas all Palm Beach County residents are encouraged to take part in activities and observances designed to increase awareness and understanding of HIV/AIDS as a global challenge, and urge residents to join the effort to prevent the further spread of HIV/AIDS. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners, Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this first day of April 2025, that April 10th, 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Youth HIV Awareness Day. I didn't introduce you.
Good morning, all. All commissioners, distinguished guests, and community members and leaders. My name is Rosie Hayes. On behalf of the Palm Beach County HIV Care Council, I want to extend our sincere gratitude to the Board of County Commissioners, and especially Commissioner Greg Wise, for recognizing National Youth HIV/AIDS Day. This proclamation is more than just a recognition. It is a commitment to our youth, to awareness, and to the importance of education in the fight against HIV/AIDS. Indeed, we are here, we are in it to end it. Young people are the future of our community, and ensuring that they have the knowledge, resources, and support to protect themselves is crucial, because HIV today is 100% preventable. However, stigma is a beast, and we will no longer be bullied by it. By acknowledging this day, we are taking an important step toward reducing stigma, increasing access to prevention and care, and empowering our youth with the education they need to make informed decisions about their health. I also want to recognize the hard work of Nita Mahoney and the Palm Beach County HIV Care Council, along with its dedicated board members. Their efforts ensure that every voice is heard and that no one in our community feels left behind. Their dedication to inclusivity and advocacy strengthens our ability to serve those affected by HIV/AIDS in Palm Beach County. Again, thank you for this proclamation and for standing with us in the fight for a healthier, more informed future for our youth. Together, we can continue to make a difference. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And may I have Leah Heinzelman of Kotler Herring and Phoebe Printer of Kotler Herring approach, please? Thank you. And this is a proclamation honoring Landscape Architecture Month. One of the things about landscape architecture is I still work, but without work. I've worked as a planning professional, and we work side by side with landscape architects who are responsible for a lot of what you see in the built environment. And it's a lot of urban design, it's a lot of fixing things and making things work and making sure that what goes into the community is aesthetically pleasing, especially when it comes to our landscaping. So thank you two for being here this morning. And I believe Helen Cohen is currently the Florida AIA? ASLA, okay, I'm American. ASLA, American Society of Landscape Architects, president this year, who I have had the pleasure of working with previously for 11 years. So, this proclamation declares April 2025 as Landscape Architecture Month. Landscape architecture is a multifaceted STEM profession that encompasses the analysis, design, planning, management, and stewardship of the natural and built environment, playing a crucial role in shaping the spaces where people live, work, and play. And whereas as licensed professionals, Landscape architects have a responsibility to protect public health, safety, and welfare through the thoughtful design, analysis, management, and stewardship of the natural and built environments in Palm Beach County, contributing to the overall well-being of residents. And whereas landscape architects have played integral roles in shaping the economic, social, and cultural fabric of Palm Beach County, contributing to the creation of vibrant and livable communities that enhance the quality of life for all residents. And Palm Beach County recognizes the vital role of landscape architects in shaping healthy, equitable, safe, and resilient public and private outdoor spaces, contributing to the overall well-being of residents. And Palm Beach County celebrates the economic benefits derived from landscape architects, acknowledging their role in creating, inviting, and safe spaces that contribute to the economy while simultaneously preserving the environment and ecological systems. And whereas we recognize the enduring contributions of landscape architects to the well-being and prosperity of Palm Beach County. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on the first day of April 2025, that April 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Landscape Architecture Month. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, all commissioners. My name is Leah Heinzelman, and I'm a landscape architect at Kotler and Hearing up in Jupiter. I'm here with Phoebe Prenter, my colleague, and we're actually both part of the American Society of Landscape Architects Florida chapter. I'm the current past president, and she is our Palm Beach Treasure Coast chair. So we really appreciate this proclamation today, and we look forward to continuing beautiful projects throughout Palm Beach County. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to call Dr. Tammy Fields, Jennifer Cirillo, Paul Connell, Deb Drum, Ron Rice, Marcella Millette, Cliff Battles, Tammy Burton, and Stessie Carices. Sorry about that, Stessie. All right, today we're declaring April 22nd, 2025 as Earth Day, whereas this year marks the 55th anniversary of Earth Day, a national day to focus on the environment and which is credited with launching the modern environmental movement. And whereas science continues to support how critical the environment is for mental and physical health, and whereas local residents have been champions of county efforts to address environmental issues, such as the continuing restoration and enhancement of natural areas, the wild and scenic Loxahatchee River, parks, beaches, Lake Worth Lagoon, estuary, and sea turtles and manatee protection. And whereas the county is working to mitigate our climate impacts by monitoring and reducing county greenhouse gas emissions and planning for climate resiliency and promoting sustainable development. And whereas the results of restoration efforts are being realized through the return of rare bird species, the emergence of new businesses focused on ecotourism, and increased awareness of the Palm Beaches as a world-class ecotourism destination. And whereas family-friendly Earth Day celebrations are being held at the county-operated Okehili, Green Cay, and Daggerwin Nature Centers, with more information at pbcnature.com. And whereas the county Strategic Planning and Performance Management Environmental Protection Trust Department team, made up of 13 departments, is one of 7 strategic priorities promoting programs, activities that protect, preserve, and enhance natural resources while providing sustainable living and developing a climate of resilience. And whereas all people, regardless of race, gender, income, and geography, have the right to a healthy, sustainable environment with economic growth and opportunity. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commission of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled on this regular session on the first day of April 2025, that April 22nd, 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Earth Day.
Good morning, thank you. On behalf of our Environmental Protection Cross-Department team, I want to thank Commissioner Flores for sponsoring this proclamation that declares April 22nd as Earth Day in Palm Beach County. Various departments within our CDT will be hosting public events that are designed to celebrate Earth Day. These events promote an appreciation for our natural areas, and they remind our county residents that every day is a day for practicing good environmental stewardship. Again, thank you, Commissioner Flores, for helping us get this important message out to our entire county.
While they take photos, I would like to invite Nicole Bishop and Ren Henson to join me, and anyone that participated this morning in the sexual assault awareness walk this morning. Good morning. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Sexual assault is a deeply personal and devastating crime that affects individuals from all walks of life. The reality is that everyone knows someone who has been impacted. Whether they've shared their story or not, survivors are our friends, our family members, our colleagues, and our neighbors. That's why it is so important that we believe them. When we listen with compassion and stand in support, we create a community where survivors feel safe to come forward and where healing can begin. Awareness is the first step towards change. It takes all of us to foster a culture where respect, consent, and accountability are non-negotiable. By breaking the silence and addressing the issue openly, we can work towards a future where no one has to suffer in silence. So for today, we are going to be declaring April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month uplifts year-round efforts that call attention to the prevalence of sexual violence and its widespread impacts while promoting responses that lead to positive cultural change. Whereas the goals of the month are to raise public awareness about sexual violence, provide education on individual and societal impacts, and encourage community-level response to sexual violence. Whereas the theme of this year's National Sexual Assault Awareness Month is Together We Act, United We Change. That emphasizes the importance of collective action in addressing and preventing sexual abuse, assault, and harassment. Together, we have the power to build a future free from violence where all individuals feel safe, valued, and respected. Whereas the Palm Beach County Public Safety Department Victim Services and Certified Rape Crisis Center is a county certified sexual assault program that provides confidential, trauma-focused services to survivors of sexual violence regardless of when the victimization occurred and whether the assault was reported to law enforcement. Whereas in 2024, Public Safety Department's Victim Services and Certified Rape Crisis Center provided 14,314 services to 596 adults and children who were victims of sexual assault, including 243 forensic exams. Whereas preventing sexual abuse, assault, and harassment requires us to work together to support healthy, safe, and respectful behaviors and environments. Community-level prevention benefits us all. Whereas residents are encouraged to join advocates and community members in raising awareness about sexual violence, focusing on the needs of those who have been harmed, and advancing equitable support for every survivor. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this first day of April 2025, that April 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Good morning, Commissioners, Madam Mayor, County Administrator Baker. Thank you for this important proclamation and for your ongoing support of survivors in Palm Beach County. On behalf of Palm Beach County Victim Services, we are honored to accept this recognition as we begin Sexual Assault Awareness Month, a time dedicated to raising public awareness about sexual violence and uplifting the voices of those impacted by it. This year's national theme, Together We Act, United We Change, reminds us that prevention and healing are not solitary efforts. They require collective will and sustained action. Here in Palm Beach County, we're proud to stand united with our residents, partners, and leadership to build a community where every person feels safe, valued, and respected. We invite the public to join us throughout the month of April in showing support. Today, on the day of action, we ask everyone to wear teal, and I'm so happy to see so many wearing teal today, the color representing sexual assault awareness and prevention. For the first time, both the historic courthouse and the Four Points building will be illuminated in teal throughout the month of April, visible reminders of our community's stand against sexual violence. Also, for the first time, we're displaying Field of Flags at 2 locations, outside the historic courthouse and at the Pahokee Library out in the Glades. Each of the 596 flags represents a survivor of sexual violence, adults, teens, and children, served by our program in 2024. These flags honor their strength and resilience and symbolize the countless others who have not yet come forward. We encourage everyone to take a moment to visit, reflect, and remember. We'll close Sexual Assault Awareness Month with Healing Through the Arts, a community art event on April 26th at Compass Community Center, where survivors and supporters can come together to express healing through creativity. Events like these reflect our trauma-informed approach, creating safe spaces where survivors can find voice, connection, and empowerment. Unfortunately, these crimes are far more often than people think, with 1 in 4 women and 1 in 26 men experiencing rape in their lifetime. So this month, we invite our community to take a stand, educate themselves, and show support. Together, we can create a culture that believes survivors, promotes healing, and works toward a future free from sexual violence. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to invite Doug Crane, Aurora Arthe.
Flores, we have one more speaker.
Oh, one more speaker, I'm sorry.
You're okay.
I'll be quick. I wasn't planning to speak anyway. Good morning and thank you, Commissioner Baxter. My name is Karen Hansen, and I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse and college campus rape, which resulted in pregnancy. My oldest child, not gonna cry. My oldest child was a victim of sexual assault at the age of 12, and my father was as well at the age of 8. Nicole mentioned the statistics, but I want you to know that according to the Bureau of Justice, the average age for a victim to disclose is 52 years old. So that's a very long time to carry that weight. So please believe victims when they have the courage to come forward. My hope is that as a community, we in Palm Beach County will provide a safe space for victims to disclose and to get the services they need to heal and to hold predators accountable. Thank you for this proclamation, and thank you to everyone who walked with us this morning on behalf of survivors. Thank you.
All right, once again, I'd like to invite up Doug Crane, Aurora Arthe, Adam Davis, James Larson, Alicia Garrow, Brock Peoples, Janine Taylor, and Christine Crittler. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. All right, today we're declaring April 6th as National Libraries Day, whereas libraries offer the opportunity for everyone to connect with others, learn new skills, and pursue their passion no matter where they are on their life's journey, and whereas they have long served as trusted institutions striving to ensure equitable access to information and services for all members of the community regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identification, and socioeconomic status. Whereas libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of their communities, developing and expanding collections, programs, and services that are diverse as the population they serve. And whereas they are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals. And whereas libraries play a pivotal role in economic development by providing resources and support for job seekers, entrepreneurs, small businesses, thus contributing to local prosperity and growth. And whereas they are They are treasured institutions that preserve our collective heritage and knowledge, safeguarding both physical and digital resources for present and future generations. And whereas libraries are fundamental institutions in democratic societies working to improve society, protect the rights to education and literacy, and promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And whereas libraries and their personnel are cornerstone of communities, providing access to information, fostering learning, and supporting personal and community growth. They offer vital services, promote literacy, and create inclusive spaces for all individuals to connect, learn, and thrive. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this first day of April 2025, that April 6, 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed National Library Day.
Good morning. I'm Doug Crane, Director for the Palm Beach County Library System. Thank you very much, Commissioner Flores, and thank you to the Board of County Commissioners, not just for the proclamation today, but your ongoing history of support for our libraries in Palm Beach County. Libraries service in Palm Beach County is provided through the county, but also through our partners in the municipalities and through our state-supported partners in the library cooperatives. They are with me today here behind me to show the strength of libraries. We thank you again for your ongoing support. It truly makes a difference in our community. As the communities change, libraries are here to help people as they seek to build their lives. We want to connect communities, inspire thought, and enrich lives, and through your support here at the board, we're able to do that. Thank you all very much.
Okay, while they take their picture, for the Best Foot Forward proclamation, could I have Donna Biasi, Debbie Ellman, Karen Solid, Mandy Bennett, Emily Ramos, Karen Spagnardi, Natasha Nettles, Lisa Wheeler, and Paul Kilgallen, and anyone else who is here for that proclamation, please come forward. Good morning. So we are recognizing the 15th anniversary of Best Foot Forward Foundation. Whereas Best Foot Forward Foundation is celebrating 15 years since its founding, reflecting on its expanding programs that provide foster care and at-risk youth in Palm Beach County. And Best Foot Forward is a nonprofit organization committed to providing foster care and vulnerable youth with the same educational opportunities as all other children. Foster care youth face significant academic challenges, with only 46% graduating from high school and fewer than 3% earning a college degree, highlighting the urgent need for programs that provide stability and mentorship. Whereas the mission of Best Foot Forward is to empower foster care and at-risk youth to reach their full potential by offering essential academic support and guidance. And whereas Best Foot Forward is steadfast in its goal to equip students with the opportunities they deserve, helping them develop self-confidence, strong moral character, and the essential skills needed to become positive, productive members of society. And whereas Best Foot Forward has made a measurable impact, from kindergarten through college, 100% of students enrolled in its program graduating from high school and continuing their education or career paths with a structured plan for the future. 100%. Whereas children are key to our community's future success, prosperity, and quality of life, and they deserve to grow, learn, and thrive in a safe, nurturing environment. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this first day of April 2025 in Palm Beach County, the board hereby recognizes the 15th anniversary of Best Foot Forward Foundation.
Thank you, Commissioner Woodward and the entire Palm Beach County Commission, the leaders and the community for recognizing 15 years of success. We're honored to have our board members and team here, and we truly appreciate the support of the community. 15 years ago, no one thought that we had what it took. But with everyone's help, we have shown that every single child in this community deserves a chance. Their backgrounds don't matter. All that matters is that they have a village behind them. And with consistent support, with a solid relationship, we are changing generations for futures to come. Thank you.
I'd also like to thank you all for coming. I know this is a busy week. If you'd like to tell everyone what Saturday is, too.
Our event, our 15-year anniversary is on April 5th, and we look forward. We still have a few tickets, but close to 500 people attending. We look forward to celebrating 15 years of success. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Today, I'd like to declare April 1st, 2025 as Arlene Hershen Day. If I could have Arlene come forward, and your daughter Karen, and her special, is Cliff here? Okay. Victoria Bolatina, your assistant, and Pamela Polani, the Honorable Pamela Polani. Whereas Arlene Hershen was born in the Bronx, New York, and settled in Boca Raton, Florida, with her husband Milton and her 2 children. Whereas from 1978 to 1991, she was the producer and host of the award-winning cable television program, The Arlene Hershen Show, featuring in-depth interviews with nationally known personalities. Whereas in 2004, Arlene received a 5-year presidential appointment from former President George W. Bush to the United States Holocaust Memorial Council in Washington, D.C. Whereas Arlene Hershen has shown compassion and support to those who are less fortunate, especially children, by financially supporting nonprofits and donating her time, talent, and treasure to help those in need. Whereas Arlene Hershen has served on numerous boards, for example, honorary chair of Starry Night at the Boca Ballet Theater, offering classes to those folks who suffer from Parkinson's disease. She's a member of the board of directors of the Boca Raton Historical Society, where she collected, preserved, and presented information to the past and evolving history of the city. Of the Alzheimer's Brain Bowl, where she's a co-master of ceremonies to raise money for those who suffer from this terrible disease. Association of Caregiving Youth, where she's been honorary chair of Hearts and Social. She sponsored the Festival of the Arts and has been a woman builder for Habitat for Humanity. Do you have any free time? You better hurry, we gotta get you back there. Arlene Hershen, you have been a model for those of us who look at those who are less fortunate, but you go out and do something for that. And you extend your time and your talent and your treasure for those who are less fortunate. So therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this first day of April 2025, that this day in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Arlene Hershen Day. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Sachs. You are a role model, and this is such a privilege. I can't believe that I have received this from Palm Beach County, because living in Palm Beach County has been so important to me. I have met so many incredible, generous people. There are so many nonprofits that I have had the privilege to participate in. It has really enhanced my life. You know, when my husband passed away several years ago, my children asked if I would come back to Washington, D.C., which is where they lived. Well, I said, this is my home. I live here. I live in Palm Beach County. It is such an incredible place. It has given so much to me. And now, April 1st, I will no longer think about April Fool's Day. To me, April 1st is the Arlene Herson Day, and I thank you so much for this honor.
Okay, for Spirit of Giving attendees, we have Lindy Harvey, Cheryl Pizarro, Hannah Smith, Abrea Elam, Ariana Talabzada, Anthony Altieri, Susan Daner, Dawn Zook, Gwen Tucker, and Eric Solms. And anyone else who would like to participate. So we are declaring April 2025 as Spirit of Giving Month. Whereas Palm Beach County is committed to fostering a strong, connected, and compassionate community by supporting organizations that uplift and empower those in need. Whereas Spirit of Giving has served as a vital collaborative force in the county for over 2 decades, uniting nonprofits, businesses, and community members to maximize collective impact. And whereas Spirit of Giving's initiatives provide essential resources and services to thousands of children and families each year, including its Back to School PBC event, which equips more than 10,000 students with school supplies, and its holiday gift drive, which fulfills over 8,000 holiday wishes for local children. And whereas through strategic partnerships and community engagement, Spirit of Giving strengthens the nonprofit sector by providing education, networking opportunities, and collaborative resources to over 123 member organizations, enhancing their capacity to serve. And whereas Spirit of Giving is the official charity partner of the Boca Raton Bowl, distributing 10,000 complimentary tickets to nonprofits, veterans, first responders, and youth sports teams, ensuring access to cultural and athletic events. Whereas the impact of Spirit of Giving is made possible through the dedication of volunteers, donors, and community partners who exemplify the power of collective generosity and service. And whereas Palm Beach County recognizes the importance of collaboration, philanthropy, and volunteerism in building a stronger and more compassionate community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this first day of April 2025, that April 2025 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Spirit of Giving Month.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor Marino. Thank you, and commissioners. On behalf of Spirit of Giving, I would like to express our deepest gratitude for this incredible honor. This proclamation is not just a recognition of our organization, but the power of collaboration and the impact we can create together in Palm Beach County. For over 2 decades, Spirit of Giving has dedicated to strengthening the nonprofit sector by uniting organizations, businesses, and individuals that serve our community more effectively. We believe in the collective action will lead to greater change, and the proclamation reaffirms the importance of working together. I would like to thank Commissioner Woodward for sponsoring this proclamation. I would also like to take a moment to thank our staff and our board for coming to celebrate here with us today. I also would like to shout out one of our favorite members, Best Foot Forward, who received a proclamation also today. Their dedication to improving the lives of children in foster care is inspiring, and they are a true example of the impact that happens when organizations come together to support those in need. At Spirit of Giving, we are proud to serve as the connector, providing resources, education, support, and opportunities that amplify the missions of over 120 local nonprofits. Together, we can make an impact that no single organization could achieve alone. Thank you again, Palm Beach County Board of Commissioners, for this recognition and for supporting the work of nonprofits in our county. We are grateful for this partnership and look forward to continuing our mission to build a stronger, more connected community. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. If I could have Chris Redding, award-winning recording artist, and Serena Spates Redding, both co-founders of the St. Ellis Autism Foundation, along with Evelyn Falconer, who's executive director of the Boca Achievement Center. Hi, how are you? Good to see you again. Good to see you again. Very good. I'd like to declare April 2025 as Autism Acceptance Month. Whereas autism is a complex developmental condition that affects individuals across all racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic backgrounds, influencing communication, social interaction, and behavior in unique ways. And whereas the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates, now listen to this, that approximately 1 in 36 children born in the United States today are diagnosed with some form of autism. In the state of Florida, that's 1 in 47 boys are born every year showing signs of autism. So whereas Autism Acceptance Month serves as a time to go beyond awareness and embrace acceptance, celebrate the strengths and contributions of neurodivergent individuals, and advocate for inclusive opportunities in education, employment, and our community life. So whereas Grammy-nominated artist Chris Redding, a dedicated advocate for autism acceptance, uses your platform of music and advocacy to raise awareness, foster understanding, and promote the inclusion of individuals with autism in all aspects of society. You have spoken at the National Congress of Argentina, the Autism Speaks stage in California. You have advocated worldwide for a more inclusive society. Additionally, you have used music as a means of communication with your nonverbal autistic son, Christian Redding, demonstrating the powerful transformative role that music can play in connecting with individuals on the autism spectrum. So whereas the St. Ellis Autism Foundation has played a vital role in advocacy, fostering greater acceptance and understanding of autism that will help have a more inclusive society where all individuals, regardless of ability, can thrive and reach their full potential. Whereas Palm Beach County remains committed to ensuring that individuals with autism have access to services, programs, and opportunities, and job opportunities needed to lead fulfilling and independent lives. So we therefore, on this day, declare that this entire month, because of the work that is done by both of you in this foundation and by Evelyn Falconer, that all residents, be it known today that this month will be proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners as Autism Acceptance Month. Congratulations today.
Thank you, Commissioner Sachs, for sponsoring this proclamation. My name is Serena Redding, and I am one of the founders of the St. Ellis Autism Foundation. As a mother who received an autism diagnosis for my 2-year-old son, I was initially fearful for what the future would look like for him. But my son's strength and spirit inspired my husband and me to advocate for an accepting and inclusive world, not only for him, but for so many other children globally. I'm incredibly proud of the award-winning album, Visions of Sounds, that my husband created to celebrate neurodiversity. It's been recognized globally and has opened so many doors for us to advocate. We are proud residents of Palm Beach County, and we are grateful for all the work being done here to create a more inclusive and accepting world. I'm truly honored to be here today and to accept this proclamation on behalf of the St. Ellis Autism Foundation. I also want to recognize our family and support system and all of the providers countywide that support families and children with autism as well. Thank you.
I just want to say, excuse me, I lost my voice this past weekend during the Florida Gator game. Go Gators. But I just want to say a few years ago, our son, Christian St. Ellis, received his autism diagnosis. And my amazing wife, Serena, came to me with a brilliant idea of launching the St. Ellis Autism Foundation. I never imagined that it would lead to a world-renowned, award-winning musical album that would make an impact on the neurodivergent community and individuals globally. The powerful connection we forged with our son Christian through music has not only fueled our creativity, but it also inspired us to fight to provide for inclusive spaces, processes, technology for the neurodivergent community. My mom is here. She is a Palm Beach County educator of over 50 years, so I want to recognize her. And just speaking today as a former student of the Palm Beach County School District, a proud Palm Beach County resident, and a father, I can graciously say that the fight for inclusivity and acceptance continues. Thank you, Commissioner Sachs, for this tremendous honor, and happy Autism Awareness Month.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Falconer, the Executive Director of the Boca Raton Achievement Center. I wasn't really prepared, so I'm just going to make this brief. I just want to say thank you to everyone for recognizing the importance of making our community and our world aware of autism. It's a huge concern for many, many families, and a big struggle that follows once that diagnosis, those first few words, your child has autism, the struggles that follow that. We created the Boca Raton Achievement Center specifically to meet the needs of children with autism and related disabilities. And, you know, these are children that they just process information differently. They receive their environment differently. So the result is their reactions to their environment and to information and everything around them is different. And so they can learn, everyone can learn, they just learn differently. So when you create an environment that is respectful of their sensory needs, and you deliver information in a way that their brain can process it, and you request responses from them in ways that they're comfortable, the children can learn, they can succeed. So our goal is to reach the children as a person, not a label, not a diagnosis, not anything other than just a little person or a large person. We work with adults too. And you know, I believe that if you reach the child, you can make a difference. And if you don't reach the child, you can never teach the child. So I just want to thank you all, and thank you. All right, happy Autism Month.
Does Mom want to say something? You want to say something? Mom's always got to say something. Come on up. Tell us your name.
Good morning. My name is Marguerite Redding, and I am very, very pleased to be here with the Board of Commissioners. Thank you, Mayor, all of you. She doesn't really know this, but because I do watch your commission meetings year after year and down through the years, I've been an admirer of Commissioner Sachs for many years, several years, or whenever I would see her and speak, because she speaks with such authenticity and with such dynamism and with such passion and compassion and such an interest in autism. Just seems very much something that she would be committed to, not just here when she's on the dais, but in other instances where it is needed for us to reach out to our children and our young adults. I am very thankful to all of you and to God first. I'm also very thankful to Commissioner Bobby Powell, who has also helped to celebrate us in many instances. Of course, the mayor and all of you, I thank you. But these people have stood out in my heart and in my mind, and I thank you for your compassion, and I thank you for this beautiful day. And of course, I am very much proud of my son and my daughter-in-law. I love my daughter-in-law very much. And I thank God because they are good parents to their children. God bless all of you. And I heard someone say, we've got to reach them in order to teach them. And that is so true. Blessings.
Beautifully said.
Well, we're reaching the last proclamation today, and it is my honor to talk about the National Child Abuse Prevention Month. This month is celebrated in April to raise awareness and encourage communities to work together to prevent child abuse and neglect. This tradition started in 1983 after years of advocacy from children's rights groups who pushed laws to protect vulnerable individuals. Every president since Ronald Reagan did the first proclamation in 1983 has continued to issue proclamations to support prevention efforts, and I'm happy to be doing this one today. So we are declaring April 2025 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Can I have all of you come up? Seriously, what am I thinking here? They all are dressed in blue. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. And whereas our children are our most valuable resources and will shape the future of Palm Beach County and Florida, and whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims, and whereas protective factors and positive childhood experiences are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. And whereas Palm Beach County acknowledges the Center for Child Counseling as a leading community partner in child abuse prevention and healing from adversity and trauma. Whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnerships created between mental health and child welfare professionals, education, health, community and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas communities must make every effort to mitigate adverse childhood experiences and environments and promote programs and activities that create strong, thriving children and families. And whereas we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in safe, stable, and nurturing environments. And whereas prevention remains the best defense and protection for our children and families. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, that April 2025 is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And we have lots of members from the Center for Child Counseling, including Renee Lehman, Dr. Eugenia Millender, Matt Spitz, and whoever would like to come up and say a few words? No? We've said enough? You all do a wonderful job.
Yes, thank you.
You know,
Thank you so much for this.
This is my pleasure, and thank you. It's always the best part of the meeting. All right, now on to the regular agenda. Item 5A1, Facilities Development and Operations. Staff is looking for a motion to delegate authority. Anybody need a presentation?
Nope.
Someone like to make a motion?
Wait, does Commissioner Flores want a presentation? I'll make them so moved.
I have first from the Vice Mayor, second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor? All opposed?
Aye.
See, the motion carries 7-0. And this is such a nice breezy meeting. We are now on to board appointments. So, Commissioner Powell, I will start with you. Do you have any board appointments?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to make sure I've got all documents necessary to appoint Angela Vann to the Zoning Commission. That is my appointment to a board.
Thank you. Any others? You don't need any
Nope,
appointments are your choice.
that's it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Weiss,
None.
Vice Mayor.
None, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
None.
Commissioner Sacks? Commissioner Flores? Okay, and I also don't have any. So now we will go on to staff comments. Administration. The administrator is looking for a motion to receive and file. Is there anything you'd like to add to that? Okay.
So moved.
I have a first and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. County Attorney, anything to add? All right, we're on to board comments. We'll start with Commissioner Flores this time. Thank you. Commissioner Sacks.
Yes, definitely. Yesterday, I want to congratulate Stephanie, I can't pronounce her last name properly. Say it again? Senoff, yes. Her too. Stephanie and Todd and our new state attorney, Alexa Cox. We met at the state attorney's office with code enforcement from Animal Care and Control, and along with 2 assistant state attorneys who are focused primarily on and exclusively on animal cruelty. We had a wonderful meeting, and in fact, one of the cases that the code enforcement officers from the county encountered last week was the same case that the assistant state attorney was about to prosecute. So this was an open communication that we had, horrific pictures, and I wouldn't want anyone to see them, horrific pictures. But these terrible folks who perpetuate cruelty to animals now will have a team from the county, Animal Care and Control code enforcement officers, law enforcement, and prosecutors to make sure that they come to justice. And we also discussed ways to get fines into the foundation of Animal Care and Control. Todd is with us today. So it was a really good meeting, and I want to thank our new state attorney, Ms. Cox, and her team, as well as our team at Animal Care and Control. So it was a good part of what we did today, too. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for that update. I'm very happy to hear about your meeting and look forward to that progressing. I would like to make an off-site proclamation request for Best Foot Forward that I presented this morning. They're asking for it to be presented also on April 5th.
So moved.
Thank you.
I have a first from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. And I had a conversation with someone this weekend that I said that I would bring to this board for discussion. And Dr. Khan is here. I asked him about it this morning. It was asked to me as we're searching for a county administrator. there are recruiting firms, and this was a person who previously worked for one, that would sometimes, there were, I don't know the legal or the technical term for it, but they would sometimes recruit for positions without a contract and get a finder's fee. So if they were wanting to recommend someone to us to apply for this position, do we have a mechanism to accept applications from recruitment firms without a contract? And then if that person were to be the one that is chosen at the end of this entire process, then there would be a fee then paid to that recruitment firm or that headhunter, whatever they're called. I wanted to bring it to the board. It was an interesting concept I did not have an answer for. I said I would bring it here for discussion with all of you. And the HR director, I mentioned to him this morning the possibility, and he said it was a board decision if he wanted to come and speak. If anyone is at all interested in that potential, the payment would only be if that person is brought to us by a person who does, a consulting firm who does this, and that person is ultimately the one who gets the job. Would there then be a fee paid? Does that make sense? That was how it made sense to me when they explained it. I said I would bring it to all of you for us to have discussion. Would anybody?
Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for bringing that forward. I guess my question would be what that fee would be. I think that would be the.
And the person hadn't done this for about 10 years that talked to me about it, and anytime it was one that did not have a contract, where that person was responsible for filling that position, it was a reduced rate of like 10 to 15% of whatever because I think the normal rate is 20 to 25 if their job is to find the person. If they have a person that they send to us and that's who we choose, it was between 10 or 15%, but that would also be our call.
I mean, it's interesting. Without having specifics as to what it would cost, I think it would be hard to make a decision to say.
Yeah, and that's why the conversation was about a day and a half ago, and I don't know much about this. This is why I wanted to bring it here, and even to find legal, because we're not putting it out to bid. But if the person, is the one who brings us, then it would have to be clear up front. They are presenting us with this person. The reason it was brought to me was because this recruitment firm had a number of people that. They recruited for a specific industry, and they knew we have people that could fill that slot, but they're never going to send them to us unless, they would have the chance to get paid.
Understood.
So.
Attorney Kaufman.
Just to be clear, in county government, we can't pay anybody without a contract. There would need to be a contract in place that agreed to what the fee would be. That's certainly up to the board.
Ms. Baker.
Yeah, it is up to the board. I was simply going to say, give us an opportunity. We can get with you, get that person's name, work with legal in our procurement section to determine how we could bring that back to you for your consideration with all the facts associated with a potential contract, if that is the direction of the board.
Okay, yeah, and I'd like to hear from the board if you're even interested. It was an idea presented, and I said I would bring it, so.
Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My question is actually for Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Powell, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong because I don't have that document in front of me, that we have set this process in place already, and there was an avenue for potentially hiring someone at some point or paying a fee should we not find them through the first process laid out?
Vice Mayor, that's correct. The process that we laid out initially does allow for a recruitment firm if the process that we go through where we're posting on national boards and allowing for everyone to apply with the first 30 days, if we're not able to find someone after the task force whittles it down, then we would go to the next step, which would be to enlist a firm, a headhunter firm, that would do a global search that would allow for a finder's fee or allow for a contract. The process that we've currently laid out and that we voted on last week and voted on the previous week does not have a mechanism in there for a headhunting firm at this time.
So what I'd like to say is let's let the first part play out, and then if we reach the second part, I think that's where the contract and the conversation of dollars should come up, but that's my opinion.
I agree with you. I think that's kind of the way and why we laid it out in that expedited process that we all voted on together. So if that doesn't work, then we would go to that second process that would involve a firm.
Okay, thank you. I saw this as a bit of a hybrid between the two because we are not guaranteed that we would have to pay anyone, and it would, what? Oh, sorry. That, we wouldn't have to pay unless that candidate is actually the one that is chosen. So I don't know if you even want to hear more after they do their research and come back to us. But, it was more of a hybrid between the two, because if we end up having to hire a firm, we will be paying that firm no matter what. And because then they will be responsible. So it seemed like this would be a potential go-between. So that's the end of my comments.
Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no problem having staff come bring this back, and I'm always open to learn what our opportunities might be. So that would be, and I appreciate the administrator offering that to learn more about it. And if it's something we take advantage of, great. If not, but thank you for bringing it forward.
Thank you for bringing that up. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It is, of course, April Fool's Day, and I know there's people who have birthdays on April Fool's Day, so to the people who have not mentioned their names, happy birthday. And as a response to Commissioner Woodward and Commissioner Weiss with regard to hiring a firm, I will say that as discussed with our team, staff, the attorney, HR director, and deputy county administrator, we do actually have a firm. I mean, we actually have the University of Virginia, who is on contract with us, who has 100 search firms. So if this process doesn't work, that option and opportunity is still available. I know we kind of discussed that. So I did want to make mention of that. And in terms of my comments, actually have several pages worth of a keynote that I want to present today. April Fools. April Fools. With that, I have no further comments.
What about the
Oh, I'm sorry.
letter you sent all of us?
The proclamation.
That was April Fool's?
No, it's actually, I think we actually moved forward at the last meeting to ask to do this offsite proclamation, but to make sure that we're on point, and it is the month of April, I am requesting an offsite proclamation, offsite approval for an offsite proclamation on April the 2nd, 2025, as World Autism Day, and for the month of April to Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Second.
Thank you.
We had a first from Commissioner Powell, a second from Vice Mayor Baxter. All in favor?
No, Commissioner Weiss. Okay.
All opposed? That motion carries 7-0.
That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
You sent us a letter?
Did I
about
miss something?
comments? Judge
Oh,
Rogers.
Lord. Thank you. I've worked with our county staff in terms of, as well as the administrator, to allow for the library at the courthouse to be renamed the Judge Rogers Library Reading Room. I had it in front of me. Each one of us has it in front of us as well. So I do want to make sure that we allow for that process. Thank you, Mayor. I'll read the entire thing. Of course, I've requested the support for a motion under my comments today honoring the legacy of the late Judge Edward Rogers. This would name the law library at Palm Beach County's courthouse in his memory. This initiative has been requested by Chief Judge Kelly and other esteemed members of the judiciary in recognition of Judge Rogers' profound impact on our legal system. Judge Rogers was a trailblazer in Palm Beach County. He served for 22 years on the circuit court, including a term as chief judge from 1983 to 1985. Judge Rogers broke barriers as the circuit court's first black judge in 1973, and he continued to lead with integrity and dedication. He did that, of course, throughout his entire career, even after his time as a judge on the bench. After he retired from the bench in 1995, Judge Rogers remained deeply involved in public service. He served as a Riviera Beach councilman and mayor. His contributions extended beyond the courtroom. In 1991, he founded the Riviera Beach Civil Drug Court, a program that continues to serve individuals struggling with substance abuse in Palm Beach County. His innovative approach to justice earned him the prestigious Jefferson Award, often regarded as the Nobel Prize for public service. Judge Rogers' impact on our community is immeasurable. Naming the library in his honor would serve as a lasting tribute to his contributions to our legal system, his advocacy for fairness and equity, and his commitment to uplifting our community. So I respectfully request your support of this important recognition in an effort to ensure his legacy continues to inspire future generations. As you all know, many of us in the community have known Judge Rogers. He, especially in his later years, he was a civil rights icon. He participated in a lot of events, a lot of forums. I distinctly remember one of the peace walks I did with a group, and I was standing next to Judge Rogers, and Judge Rogers said to me, you know, you're elected, and I'm not, so I can say whatever I want to say at this point in my life. And he was nearly 90 years old at the time. He really was a trailblazer. Of course, our community is still reeling from the loss of Judge Rogers. But I want to thank everybody who worked to make sure this effort happened. Outside of being the commissioner for District 7, I also serve as the president of the Palm Beach County Black Elected Officials, where I received a call from Lawrence Gordon, who's the vice mayor of Haverhill, to work on this effort. I had the conversations with our county administrator, Radenia Baker, assistant county administrator, Todd Bonlaren. Also, this was a conversation that was brought up to me a while ago by Kathy Clark, who works for the Palm Beach County Bar Association. So this has been a conversation that has been ongoing, and it's really, really important to the community. So I want to thank you all as a part of this team for accepting and pushing this effort. I know I made an April Fool's joke about a keynote, but unfortunately it became a reality, but I think it was well-deserved and well-earned. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Flores, your light is on.
Yeah, I just want a clarification on that previous comment by Commissioner Weiss and Commissioner Woodward. Did we actually give direction? Because I know that we've been very protective of giving direction, so I wasn't sure how that was interpreted by the administration and the commission.
I would say that without opposition, we would go ahead and give the administrator direction. There's no fiscal impact at this time, and that's the way we've been doing it. You know, it's just been without opposition, and I didn't hear any opposition to it. So, if that would be the consensus of the board.
Mayor, may I?
Sure.
I don't know if we gave direction. I think there was a conversation that was had with regard to, and I think I clarified that the University of Virginia is already contracted with the county, that if we were to give direction, they would work with the 100 firms that are already there. Plus, I think we made mention to the fact that we would go through the initial process first. I don't believe we gave direction, but if you heard something different,
I think what I took out of it was there's no harm in the commission, in Administrator Baker talking to this firm and seeing what their position was. It has nothing to do, we're not hiring anybody, we're not doing anything. I think it was just let's get a little bit more information.
Since I brought it up, I would be willing, if the board wanted to vote on whether or not to issue that direction, I'd be comfortable with that.
And I've got more lights on. Commissioner Sachs.
Yeah, look, Ms. Baker can talk to anybody she wants, and she does. So I don't think we need to formalize this. And if, let's just, as the old saying, let sleeping dogs lie. Let's just move forward with what we're doing, with what our great HR department's doing. Let's just move forward. And Ms. Baker, I don't think anyone's ever stopped you from talking. And you can talk to anybody you want to, and anybody, you know. There was a conversation that one of our commissioners had. And let's continue these conversations, but let's just move on with the business. I don't want to get mired in giving direction and not giving direction. Just move on. And if there's any issues that come up, this firm wants to come and give us an estimate or something. This is a free country. We're transparent. Go ahead and give us notice. But let's move on. I just want to
Could
say
I just
something about
clarify?
Okay, I just wanted to say something about Judge Rogers. I thought he was a great guy, and he was not just an icon, but for young lawyers, he kind of blazed the way with fearlessness, which was incredible because young lawyers were always a little afraid of doing things or getting people angry or pissing off the judge. He was there first, okay? And I think it's a wonderful thing. And maybe when we do name the library after him, if we could put a plaque or something to talk about his life and maybe some of his quotes. I think that's a wonderful thing. Thank you so much, Commissioner Powell, for that. That's wonderful. Okay, so second thing, let's just move on. I don't want to complicate this issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like clarification from the attorney. When we give direction, what does an objection look like to you? Do you need us to say the word objection?
It's really up to the mayor to determine the order of the meeting, but yes, obviously, if you say objection, obviously, if you voice your opposing opinion, I think that
Is an objection?
is an objection.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page with that. I agree with Commissioner Sachs that I would like us to move on. We've set a process in place, and I don't think anyone wants to hinder Ms. Baker from having conversations. But at the same time, I don't want to open another conversation for a whole nother round of complicating this. I like what's in place. I like the direction we're headed, and we have left we are still doing a national search. Some people seem to think we're not. We're just not hiring, at this moment, a firm to do that. So I currently like where we are now without extending that further. Thank you.
Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. I'm just going to ask that Administrator go ahead and move forward and bring that information. If you all don't want to hear it, you don't need to hear it. She can meet with us individually and let us know how it would work. And if there's anything to move forward on after that, then we can bring it back in front of the board.
Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you. If it is the will of the board to object, I would not try to push forward with board direction. I very much respect if there's opposition. Anytime a member of this board would like to give direction, then it's not board direction. I will have a separate conversation, and if it deems, if I see it's warranted or another commissioner would like to bring it back to this board for further discussion, I'm happy to do that moving forward. I just, as we're in the process, wanted to bring this up to you as quickly as possible. But again, if that is the will of the board, then I will withdraw that for board direction. And that is how we will do things moving forward.
Actually, how we will do things moving forward is oftentimes there are members of this board that do ask for more information. And that is exactly what you were doing, was asking for more information. And I don't see any harm in that. Is it going to change the process right now? No, it's not going to change the process right now. We have a process in place. This is just another tool in our toolbox for information. So with that, who has not done comments yet? Okay, Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm requesting two off-site proclamations. One declaring April 13th, 2025 as Palm Beach County Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. And the other is declaring April 6th through 12th National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Have a second, please.
First and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much. And then a couple things. One is this past weekend, I was able to celebrate with my family my mother's 90th birthday. So that was a really wonderful opportunity to get together and celebrate a life worth lived. My mom has, I think she has been somebody who has spent her time trying to make our world a better place, and so really appreciate all her efforts over so many decades of working hard in her community, and so hopefully, as my younger brother said, here's to another 90 years. So Mom didn't think that was funny, but. And then secondarily, I also want to thank our folks over at Animal Care and Control and the rescues here in Palm Beach County. Unfortunately, last week we were made aware of a situation where dogs were either abandoned or dumped. Over 20 animals left to take care of themselves. They were clearly were in distress, had been not well taken care of. It was terrible. And we know, I mean, there's so many animal lovers on this board. There's no reason to do something like that. If you have an animal you need and you can no longer care for it, we have Animal Care and Control. They will accept any animal, and so there is an opportunity for you to surrender your animal so that somebody else potentially can look after it and make sure that it's not put in a situation like it was found, but like these animals were found. So again, I want to thank our rescues. That we have so many great groups here in Palm Beach County and in Treasure Coast that work together to ensure that animals that are no longer able, the owners no longer able to take care of them, there's places for them to go and to find new loving homes for them. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Flores, your light is on.
All right, so I want to go back to this board directive stuff. And I apologize, but I just got to voice out my opinion. I don't have any objection to this particular issue that's coming before us, but we're picking and choosing how we give board directions, and that is not okay with me. Because you guys made a show and a spectacle up here about me asking for an update. And now we're saying, oh, we're only asking for information. We don't really need board approval to give board direction. So it has to go both ways. It has to be, whatever works for you has to work for me. So I just want to make sure that when we go down this path, we do it in a fair manner where you can't pick and choose what is requesting information or what is giving board direction, because this to me sounds like we're giving board direction. So I'm okay with either one. And to be honest with you, if one of these board members, and I said this when we had that debate before, if one of you guys want information and you want to give staff direction, I don't have a problem with that, because information is power, and with information we can all make better decisions. So I don't have a problem with that. But don't come back and try to mute me and ask me to not do something because I asked for an update. So to me, this is sounding like double standards, and we got to decide. And we had actually, I think we talked about this not too long ago. So to me, you guys are going in a direction here that is slippery slope.
Commissioner Weiss.
So I've always felt that I can ask staff for whatever information I want. Typically, I do it in private, but in this case, since this topic came up, and as Commissioner Woodward expressed, that there was opposition, so therefore we didn't have board direction unless we were going to take a formal motion and vote on it, and I agree typically. So But in this case, normally I would have just picked up the phone or sent a text over to the administrator asking her to get more information and meet with me and go over it. So I understand what you're saying, Commissioner Flores, but as it went today, there's no board direction that was given other than myself and Commissioner Woodward saying we would be happy to hear from the administrator to gather that information. So maybe I'm misinterpreting something here, and so I'm certainly open to understand that. But my only comment was was directly actually to the administrator to say, hey, give me go ahead, follow up on that and give me the information. And if there was something I deemed important that I wanted to bring back to the board, I'd do it.
Commissioner Woodward.
To be clear, I'm not exactly sure who you're directing, so I'll just answer because I was the one that brought it up. And since it was clear to me that there was opposition from the board in giving this direction, I withdrew it and said that I would, because I only just found out about this, would have my own conversations with staff. And if I felt it was worthwhile, I would bring it back again, seeking board direction. So my getting more information would not be considered board direction, because I would never do that as an individual board member. And anytime there's opposition from this board, I think all of us should respect that we should not give board direction when there's opposition. If I need to get more information, I will, and if I see it's necessary, then I will bring it back in the future under my comments, or Commissioner Weiss would bring it back if he thought it was necessary. But if there's confusion that we are giving board direction, I have already withdrawn that. It was clear there was opposition, and I hope that all of us would do the same thing moving forward. If there's opposition, we would not try to force board direction. And I was even willing to take a vote. It got to the point where that wasn't necessary. So I will have another conversation. You may never hear this subject come up again after I have conversation with staff. Or maybe you will if it seems like this is a really viable option. Would send to you more information, and then we would have a future discussion at that point whether or not to give board direction. But at this point, it was withdrawn. I will seek my own information, and I guess Commissioner Weiss will do the same. So I'm not sure, that's my understanding of what just happened, and I think that it's a pretty good way to move forward. I don't see where there's, two sides of this. Am I missing? I'm asking, because I'm not really sure. I withdrew it.
No, I just think we had a conversation about this, and I thought we had agreed at that time that any time that we give board direction is because it requires additional staff time. That's the way I understood it. Maybe I misunderstood that concept at that time, but I'm just saying it has to be, whatever we agree, we have to adhere to it. And there should be no double standards, and you can't just say, oh, we're simply asking for information. Yeah, we can ask our staff for information at any time, but is it gonna come back before us? I thought that was the main component. So maybe I'm misunderstanding of what we had agreed to, I think like 2 meetings ago at the workshop, but I could be wrong.
And I guess my understanding of this was if it comes back to this board, I would be, again, bringing it back under my comments, not it would be coming from staff as a presentation. That, to me, would be I'm directing staff to bring it back versus I will do my own research, further research into this and bring it back to you again, and then we would ask staff to bring it. So the board direction would require the work of staff. I'm going to have my own private meeting with staff and discuss this and then bring it back to you myself, or Commissioner Weiss would bring it back himself, seeking board direction.
If I may. In this particular issue, I already told you, I don't have an objection with getting more information. The only thing to me is that we are already underway in this search. We're probably 5 days into the 30-day search to then go try to get a contract in place, I'm assuming by the 8th, to try to get it in time to adhere to the April 28th deadline. To me, it sounds like it's a little rushed, but I'm okay with getting information. I'm just saying that whatever standard we set on this board about giving direction should be the standard that we use flat across the board. That's what I'm saying.
All right, I'm going to put this topic to bed. Ms. Baker, you don't need to do anything. If there's something that Commissioner Woodward wants privately done, that's a conversation. There is no board direction here on this at all. So I think that, I still have 2 more lights on, but I think that might put the conversation to bed. Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for clarifying something that was said. Just because there's one objection or 2, that doesn't necessarily negate an entire board direction. It is a majority. It is the 4 of us agreeing, because Administrator Baker's favorite saying, "I will do anything 4 of my board members tell me to do." I've heard that a few times over the past couple years. So it doesn't necessarily have to be unanimous, which is why I think it's important that we all talk, we all discuss, and we all state our opinions. But I do agree with you. As for the rest of it, I do think we should be able to get information, but let's be cognizant of staff's, time, which I'm reminded of regularly. There is a shortage of staff and a shortage of time between now and this process that we've started. So I don't mind if you do your own research and you want to bring something back to us. That's your prerogative and your fellow commissioner, and I respect that. I just don't want to prolong something that I felt was already in process. So thank you.
Commissioner Woodward.
If I could, I do agree. That's why I asked if the board would like to vote, because either we're going to say there's objection or we should vote. But I went ahead and withdrew that without asking you to vote. But if that is your prerogative to prove that it was a majority, I'm willing to do that too.
I don't think there's anything to vote on or talk. We've had enough discussion on this topic. So, Commissioner Sachs, please. Vice Mayor, do you have any comments?
I do not. Thank you, Mayor.
And I do have comments. So, Commissioner Sachs, if you don't mind, I have a few comments to make.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Was there a vote taken up for the renaming that Commissioner Powell requested?
We never did vote. We'd have a motion and a second. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much.
Could we have the second restated for the record?
It was Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I just want to say, speaking of renaming, this Friday, the VA hospital is going to be renamed to the Thomas H. Corey VA Hospital in recognition of a special veteran who went way above and beyond the call of duty, and while in a wheelchair, spent his life campaigning for veterans. So Friday will be the renaming of the hospital in his name. I would also like to remind everybody that the James Hardy NFL Pro Hall of Fame golf tournament is in Boca this weekend. Please come out and support it. It's being supported by the City of Boca, but also by the Sports Commission. And Bella's Angels, as we do our proclamations on the first Tuesday of the month, a lot of the proclamations that we do have to deal with the nonprofits in our community. And Bella's Angel is another one of those nonprofits, and they're actually holding a very special event. They're holding their second annual Access for All Abilities Showcase on Saturday, April 26th. The event will be held at the Hilton West Palm. And if anyone is interested, just check out their website at www.bellasangels.org. And in something that we all do up here, we all support the nonprofits here. So anytime anyone wants to add that to their comments, I welcome that, because anything we can do to help our agencies is necessary. So with that, I have no more comments, and we will be adjourned until 2 o'clock, at which time we will be here for matters by the public. Thank you.